Hello student, let us enter into the one more session of our statistics. As you know that already we spent near our sixth session on the chapter probability, and already I told you that theory is over. Most of the theoretical part is over, but one more definition is left, and as soon as we are going to do that definition, then theoretical part will be completed. So today my aim is to complete the theoretical part of this chapter and then many questions one by one. So first of all, as usually we do, we go for a revision of some previous topic. One of the topic which I told you earlier, and since it's very important, so I am taking it as a revision part. Then we'll see some new articles. Revision part I took as a conditional probability. Whenever some extra condition is added with any event, as many example I told you earlier also, whenever some extra condition is added with some event, then we use the formula for a conditional probability. Earlier also I told you that in question it will not be mentioned that you find conditional probability. If you are lucky, then okay, direct question will come using this formula. Otherwise, you will have to read that question very carefully. So, formula which I told you for conditional probability earlier, it's a revision part. Probability of A event in presence of B. Suppose there are two events and interdependent on each other, then if you want to find the probability of A event in presence of B, B event affects the A event, then formula is probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. Remember here it's in a denominator type, so here also it will be in a denominator type. One important condition always you mention side by, that probability of B cannot be 0. Similarly, if you want to find probability of B in presence of A, then numerator will be same. We'll be using this formula, probability of A intersection B divided by probability of A, as I told you how to remember. Again, condition is probability of A is not equal to 0. Already in last session, I did one or two questions on this. Some more questions afterwards. First of all, let me wind up the theoretical part. Already I told you that theoretical part is over. I told you the definition of probability, and earlier definition of probability was mathematical definition of probability. So there is one more article 1.7, and this is the last article in this particular chapter. What is the heading? Earlier mathematical definition of probability was told to you. Now it's a statistical definition of probability. Statistical definition of probability, when they say that define it or why we want this new topic, I'll be telling you gradually. So first of all, why we require a new definition? Already we had a nice definition of probability. Then why we require new definition of a probability, that is statistical definition of probability. So there are two conditions. If total output is very large or infinite or unknown. Earlier when I was telling you limitation of mathematical definition of probability, there the biggest limitation was if outcome was infinite or large, we cannot use the earlier formula. Earlier formula was probability of A is equal to m by n. So earlier limitation was if n was very large, I told you that this formula cannot be used. But now in a new definition, we'll try to modify this formula. So once more, one of the condition is why we require a new definition of probability. One of the reason is if output is very large, in your book it is given that if it is near about infinite, or if n tends to some new letter is used in a book, I'll be telling you if total output is infinite or even total output is unknown, or otherwise if individual outcome is not equiprobable. This was the biggest condition when we were using this formula. If all the events are not equiprobable, then we will not be able to use earlier formula. So for that purpose, we are going to have a one more definition of probability. Now, when I will tell you that definition, formula wise, you will find that that formula is similar. But the new definition of probability, that is statistical one, is obtained by relative frequency, by relative frequency of outcome. It's given in your book. They are not going to ask you definition of this probability, but you should remember when to use what formula. It's a relative frequency of outcome as it is given in your book. What is that formula? Probability of any event A is equal to, one new letter is used, limit n tends to infinity m by n. See the new letter, limit n tends to infinity. Now this is 100% new for you, commerce student, this is new for you. But we have this chapter, this is last chapter of our second book. But that will be too late when you are going to come across this particular symbol. This symbol says that how many n's you can take, limit n, how you are going to read out this, limit n tends to infinity. What does it mean? You can take n up to infinity, not infinity, but n can be as many as you can take. So see the new formula, it is similar to the old one. Probability of A is equal to limit n tends to infinity m by n. Now m is any event or frequency of any event which you want to find, whose probability you want to find. Now here m is not necessarily equiprobable, any event. Earlier it was equiprobable, here m is any event which is repeated as many times, you write that number. N can be any number up to infinite. One nice example is given in your book. Suppose if anybody is asking you to find probability of catching fish from river or lake. Now we don't know how many fish is there in a lake or river. So we cannot use a earlier formula, because in earlier formula n was definite. Here we don't know how many fish is there in the lake. Similarly, how many fish we are going to catch, its probability is not equiprobable. In such case, we are going to use this definition, that is statistical definition of probability. 4 marks question is there in the last exercise. In next section, I am going to do 4 marks question, that is in the last exercise. Only 3 to 4 questions are there in the last exercise, but there is a guarantee of getting one question in any exam, board exam or prelim exam. So that afterwards. Now just like in our earlier definition, here also there are 2 limitations. Why I am telling you limitations properly? Because as a part of theoretical question, they can ask you, roughly they can ask you, even though I said that they will not ask definition of probability, but suppose 2 marks question comes. What is definition of statistical definition of probability? Write 2 limitations. So 2 limitations are actually that limitation which is actually a favorable condition for this definition. These 2 limitations are given just before the last exercise. Limitation number 1 is, this definition hold only when n is very large or n is infinity. But in maths, if you write n is equal to infinity, then that term cannot be defined. So see, even though we say that n is infinity and that is required, but directly you cannot put n is equal to infinity. If you divide any number by infinity, that will become 0. So again, this is like a limitations. This definition hold only when n is very large or n tends to infinity, which is not possible in our day-to-day life. Suppose if I want to find probability of a star. Now immediately if you want to find the probability of a star, then m is also not known, n is also not known properly. What you can write? Maximum n is infinity. Then result will not be a definite one. So this formula is not useful in the practice if n is n is very large means tends to infinity. Second one is the probability obtained by this definition is having estimated values. This is one very important limitations. Whatever the answer you are going to get, that will be estimated values, not the exact values. In an earlier formula, if you want to find the probability of any event, then you was getting the answer exactly. Here suppose if you are using this formula, you will get a estimated values. So come on, this is last topic of this particular chapter. As soon as we will complete today's this session, then theoretical part will be over. So new definition, statistical definition of probability and its limitation. Now we will be doing the question of some previous exercises and question of this particular article in the next session. After doing some theoretical part, let us do some important question. So I have selected question from exercise 1.2. These are all mathematical type of a question. That's why I selected some of the questions. Then coming days, in a coming sessions, not only we are going to do question, I will introduce chapter 1 of a part 1. In a coming session, partially we are going to see the new topic of a new chapter and question of this. So don't take it in this way that this is the last session for this chapter. We will continue in a coming session also. So 3 important questions I have selected from exercise 1.2. Just one by one you see and try to see the mathematical step and try to read that question very carefully. Now these are the expected question. Every year in a question paper you will find this type of question. So question I am not writing. You see that question in a exercise. Exercise 1.2, question number 16. The datas I have collected. How it is given in that question? There are 10 bulbs in a box. There is a box in which there are 10 bulbs. 2 bulbs are randomly selected. This is very important. 2 bulbs are randomly selected. Remember 11th class, the word selected means combination. So we are going to use the first formula of a probability. Probability of any event is equal to m by n. So first of all, in such type of question, always try to find n. N means total number of outcome. So according to 11th class, since event is selected, so n will be 10C2, 10 option out of which 2 is to be selected. Remember that formula which I told you in 11th class, 10 into 9 divided by 2, so it will be 45. So total number of outcome is 45. This calculation is according to the 11th class. So whenever you do this chapter or questions of this chapter, just revise that combination and permutation. Now there are 3 defective bulbs given in your book. It means that there are 7 non-defective bulbs. And one very important line is given, room should be lighted. What does it mean? That there should be light in the room. Light will be there in the room only when non-defective bulb will be put in a holder. If you are putting a defective bulb in a holder, then light will not be there in the room. So room should be lighted. It means that the non-defective bulb should be in that holder or socket, what you say, where we are putting that bulb. How many holders are there? Given in the question, there are 2 holders. So in a 2 holders, in one of the holder, 7 non-defective bulb can be put in the form of 7C2. But there are 2 holders. Either in a first holder, the 7th is a non-defective bulb. Out of this 2 is to be, or otherwise another option is 7C2. There are 2 options given. 7C2 non-defective bulb in a 2 holders one by one. Option can be that bulb can be in any one of 2 socket. If it is a room should not be lighted, then don't use 7. Then you will have to use the number 3C2 plus 3C2. Why we are taking this event twice? Because there are 2 options. There are 2 holders. So 2 holders and 2 selections. Now if you calculate this, this is our m. So if you calculate this, 7C2 means 7 into 6 divided by 2 plus 7 into 6 divided by 2. Why I am taking a plus in between? Because it's an option. In any holder you can put a 2 bulbs. So total number of event will be 21 plus 21, that is 42. So probability of that event which we are finding, probability of that event, suppose that is A, is equal to m by n, that is 42 by 45. If you cancel it, it will come 14 by 15. This is answer of this question. So slightly tricky question is this one. If they want to give a new thing in this question, they will ask you that okay, room is not to be lighted. Then it will be like this, 3C2 plus 3C2. So many times what they do, they change that words here or there. So question number 16 is very important. Two more questions I have selected. There are three such type of question. Question 10, 11 and 12 are identical, and even in a competitive exam also question 10, 11 and 12 type of question comes. So I have selected these three questions. One you try to do by yourself. Question number 10 is, suppose there is a leap year. Now what do we mean by leap year? Leap year means and that too, month selected is February month. Read that question carefully. Each and every word will have their own meaning. February month as well as leap year. So February month, there are 29 days in a leap year, and in a leap year total number of days are 366, which is not required in this question, but in any other question when they use the word leap year, then there are going to be 366 days. Here since they are using the word leap year, then there are 29 days in the month February. Now they say that there are 4 Mondays. Definitely they are asking you to find the probability of 5 Monday. Probability of 5 Monday. So probability of 4 Monday is definite. Why? Because 7 4s are 28. So out of 28 days, 4 Monday is guaranteed. Now for 5th Monday, we have a one option, that is 5th Monday, and there are 7 outcomes. 7 outcome means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Out of 7 outcome, one of the day, favorable day will be Monday. So its probability will be 1 by 7. This question is very important according to me. Same type of question is question number 11. Read that question carefully. If it is a leap year, then only you will get answer 1 by 7. Now if suppose leap year is not given, then total number of days are 28 only in a February month. Then there is no question of a 5th Monday. So your answer will be, there are going to be only 4 Monday, then 5th Monday there is no possibility. So this question can be changed in that way. Now last question of this session is question number 11. What is the probability of 53 Friday in a non-leap year? So as soon as the word comes non-leap year, then immediately you write n is equal to 365. Then 52 into 7. Why I am doing so? Because in a 1 week there are 7 days. So when you multiply 52 weeks, so 52 week into 7, you will get 364 days. And there are 365 overall days in a non-leap year. So how many days are left for a 53rd Friday? 52 Fridays already obtained, and we got 364 days. Now one Friday you want to find, and how many days are left over? 365 minus 364, 1. And how many days are there in a week? 7. So answer will be 1 by 7. Same question, and suppose if they are not giving non-leap year, but they are giving it as a leap year, then n will be 366. Then answer will be 366 minus 364 means 2. So probability will be 2 by 7. This much trick we expect in a probability. They will change the terminologies. Be careful with that terminologies. Homework I am giving you as a question number 12. It's a similar to this. Then also if you have any problem, you can tell me. In a coming session, we will be doing some harder questions of our remaining two exercises. Okay, thank you.